Really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final.
You didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Are we good? I don't know what's going on. If something was going on, I had to come back. I had to restart. It stopped and then start and then stopped. Are we good? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. We're good. Okay. I don't know if it was because of my headphones. I'm trying to be a little techie, savvy. So it could have been that. I'm not really sure, but I'm trying to see if I can use my headphones sometimes too, because then I don't have to worry about an echo. So, hello, welcome back. It is so nice to see you all. No audio? I think it's because I opened them. Or maybe you're coming in. I think it's some of you are coming in. Okay, we're good. Some of you are coming in. Okay. I apologize. Okay, we're good. Okay, perfect. So let's get into today's video. I wanted to talk about this woman that came onto social media and she wanted to know if she was male-centered because her best friend of 10 years, what is up with the 10-year friendships? I feel like there are so many friendship breakups or endings, and it's always at that 10-year mark. It just seems as of lately, it's like 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. It's like that milestone marker for a lot of friendship endings or breakups. So she lost a very close friend of hers, and basically her friend said that she was male-centered, too male-centered, to the point where she felt the need to end the relationship. So I decided that I was going to go and talk about this because she's asking the internet. She's asking the internet for advice. Now, I have to be honest with you. This woman, she seems very sweet. She seems like a very sweet girl. I don't understand why she's getting so much hate. I mean, I kind of do. I kind of do. She's a very beautiful girl. She's 26 years old. She's a young, beautiful woman. And the girls are nasty. The girls are nasty. And this is why I say, be careful about what you share online. Some people are seeking to humble you. This is really not the place for accountability. This is really not the place for advice. This is really not the place for that, because some people will come across your page with the worst intentions, but basically to ruin your day and to make you feel like a shitty person. And I also think that there is some colorism a part of this as well. I don't know. It's like this weird obsession with dark skin, brown skin women. I see a pattern, I'm going to call it out, where people are just itching to humble. And I'm like, it's kind of weird. Like, on one hand, I understand where women are coming from, but I feel like some of y'all are like really dragging it with her. Like, I do. I feel like y'all are really dragging it. And the reason I say this is because she's a sweet girl. She has not clapped back. She hasn't done anything. She's been very sweet. She's just seeking clarity and wanting to get an outside opinion about her friendship breakup. And as soon as she said, "Am I male centered?" As soon as people saw how beautiful she was, then all of a sudden the girl started clocking her makeup. Then all of a sudden the girl started clocking her hair. Then all, and it's just like, What happened to community? What happened to sisterhood? What happened to that? That just goes out the window because she said something that maybe triggered you when it comes to a past friendship. She's seriously trying to seek some type of advice that may require her to do some work like shadow work, self-improvement, transformation, change. But y'all are literally being mean. I feel like y'all are really dragging it a little bit. I do. I feel like y'all are dogpiling her on purpose, and she hasn't really done anything where I'm just like, it really requires all of that. I just have to say that because I've seen some of the nastiest comments, and this girl really hasn't said much. I'm like, am I missing something? She's not hostile. Like, you know how some people come online and they're asking for advice and they're kind of like hostile about it? She's very sweet. I'm not saying that she's innocent and that she's perfect, but I'm saying based off of how she presented this conversation and asked this question for the internet, I haven't seen anything that would require y'all to dogpile in such an aggressive, mean way. Like I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm like, some of y'all are just being mean. Y'all just mean spirited. It's just that's how it's coming across to me. And I'm like, dang, she just asked a question. So just be careful about coming online sharing some things because some women are just mean for no reason. Okay, let's get into this. Yeah, it's giving Mean Girls. And when did people get so comfortable with being mean? I don't understand that. And then the people you don't know. Okay, I'm done. But I just don't like Mean Girl stuff.
Or I talk about men.
Oh, let me go back.
I lost a close friend of many years, and one of the reasons that I guess we stopped being friends, or one of the reasons she's brought up to me, was that I am male centered or I talk about men too much. And I think that's so interesting because as a woman in my mid 20s who has intentions of being married and having children, that's a really big part of my life. And I'm like in my friendships and in my relationships, I share about what's going on in my life, and dating and being with men is something that I'm actively doing, I enjoy doing, and I don't think there is anything wrong with that. So I was just confused whether like I was like whether like she was right and like I was like talking about men too much, or there was just like a mismatch, you know, in like personalities there, or you know, like whatever it might be. But I think the whole conversation around being male centered is so interesting because as women who date men, we're going to be dealing with men. And that's probably one of the most important relationships in our lives if you're a woman dating a man and has intentions to be married. So I don't know. I just think that's so interesting because I think two things can be true at once. Yes, I enjoy dating men. I like men. A lot of my time goes into my relationships with men, but I also have a very full life for myself. And I also have a lot of goals and a lot of things that I work towards. So I am just, I guess I'm like side eye about like where that relationship ended, or just curious to hear like your thoughts because like if me pursuing men and that's a big part of my life means that I'm male centered. I guess I am male centered. At the end of the day, if you're a man, if you're a woman that likes men, like you're not going to get away from that. Like you are always going to be amongst men. You're always going to be, you know, dating men, and that doesn't negate the fact that I understand male nature. I understand how they move and I understand the bullshit that they be doing. I still like men though, and I still date men. So I guess I'm male centered. I don't know. Pursuing men.
Okay. Now, some things that I want to talk about. Go to her comment section and you will understand why I don't want to be a part of modern feminist. Okay. I don't want to be a part of the modern feminist movement. And it's because my irritation with modern feminists is that sometimes you act like men. Like sometimes y'all act like men. This woman, I'm not saying that she's not male centered. What I'm saying is sometimes when it comes to being a woman that is heterosexual and we are into men, sometimes I feel like when we exercise our right to be with a male, it's like this forbidden thing. Like, that's not something that we should want. So what should we want? There's nothing wrong with desiring and wanting to be partnered and be in a relationship with a man. It's when you are theoretically shaping your entire life around something that does not exist. Like, it's not here. Like, you are doing all of this planning. You may even put your life on hold for something that is not even here yet. And that to me is extreme. And that to me is what makes a woman male centered. It's not the desire alone. It's not especially for a Black woman, it's not the desire alone. It's not the partnering. It's not the want. It's not the dream. And none of that. I feel like that is a woman's right to choose, to have autonomy, to have agency. That's her right. And sometimes when it comes to modern feminists, you are policing women in the ways that men do, but you think that because you're in the opposition that makes you right, or that makes it okay, and it doesn't. A woman still has the right to choose. If she wants to partner with a man, then that is her choice. And with all the policing that is going on with heterosexual women, biological women, I feel like we have to really tread lightly when it comes to this conversation, because there's a lot of policing going on when it comes to women, like women, period. So this is a heterosexual woman that is desiring marriage, partnership with a male. There's nothing wrong with that. But I will say, just by how she described, her desire, I can tell that she is centering a man theoretically that is not in her life, that hasn't been consistent, that has not showed up for her. She is theoretically centering this man while she has a friend that is showing up for her consistently. And the whole time, this friend is being drained because of maybe some past relationship choices, or theoretically because she's dreaming of this future with this man. She has these boxes that she's wanting to check off the list. And this friend is right here, right now, showing up for her, being in community with her, being there for her. And the whole time, the only thing she could think about is this theoretical man that does not exist. That would be draining. And also, the friend could feel like a placeholder. Like, let's be real. The other friend could feel like a placeholder, like, oh, it's only a matter of time before this relationship gets put on the back burner, because you've already made it known that that relationship is already more important, theoretically, than I am. And I'm right here, right now, in this moment with you, showing up for you, being in community with you, supporting you. And you're already making it known that it's really not that important to you, that it's always going to come second, that it's always going to be on the back burner. And yeah, so I might as well go ahead and just end the friendship right now. I might as well go ahead and end the friendship right here, right now, because when this man comes, and if she's a good friend, she probably is wishing that for you. Like, I know the day is going to come. I might as well just go ahead and head out right now. And I think that that's what happened. I think that that was the situation. She just saw it for what it was. She saw it for what it is. And I have a feeling, I can only assume, that there probably have been some other incidences with some men that she's dealt with already where the friendship was put on the back burner. And she may have distanced herself, or disappeared, or ghosted her friend, or stopped showing up for her friend. And I think that it came down to, this was the last straw type situation. And she was just like, you know what? You're too male centered, and I'm going to have to let you go, because I'm here for you, but I don't feel like you're ever going to be here for me in the same way I am for you. So I think that's what it really came down to. But I don't want to drag this woman because she has this desire. I don't want to drag this woman because this is something that she wants. This is something that she's choosing for herself. Would it be something I'm choosing? Not necessarily, but I don't want to get into this space, especially within womanhood, where we're policing women on what they should want, what they should desire, and what they should exercise as far as like their agency and their choice. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's her choice. However, it's the friend's choice too to cut you off and to distance themselves from you because they're seeing signs that you most likely will not be there. And then also another thing that I'm noticing too, that 10 years, I can see how both of them most likely felt alienated a little bit because their values just weren't on the same page. Their values were very different. So you have a woman here who is prioritizing marriage, partnership, and then you have the other friend or the friend that probably isn't prioritizing marriage and relationship in the same way. So because of that, it's going to cause a sense of being alienated at times, especially when you don't share the same values. So I don't even think that this was a relationship that needed to continue because their values simply were not the same, and that is okay. You know, some women, they want to live a different lifestyle. Some women don't care to be partnered. Some women don't care to be in a relationship. Some women are not making that their ultimate goal, their most important relationship. Some women are curating lives outside of that, and they're not putting all of their focus or all of their eggs in one basket when it comes to that. So if you know that you have a friend that is doing that and you are just like, that's not really something that I care about, then maybe the values were just not there as far as compatibility. And so they did the right thing, in my opinion. I felt like the other friend did the right thing and was just like, I think we should just go ahead and end it here. And friendships sometimes, you outgrow each other. And I think that this is just kind of what happened. I really don't think that either party is necessarily wrong. I do think that there's more to the story, and I would like to know more. I would like to learn more about this story. And I just found out today, earlier, that she uploaded and she finally started to talk about why this friendship ended. I have not watched it yet, so I'm intrigued to see what she has to say. But I just want women to know that you're not male centered, especially as a heterosexual woman, for wanting to be with a man, or even a bisexual woman to wanting to be partnered with a man, especially Black women. You're not male centered for that. It's when you are changing everything in your current reality for a theoretical situation with a man, for a theoretical future with a man that does not exist. Like, that's what it is for me. It's like you're doing all of this, you're putting your life on hold, you're not going after certain things that you desire, that you want, and you're putting everything on hold theoretically for something that does not exist. And then you're kind of dismissing the people that are showing up for you. You're dismissing the love that you do get, like from your pets, from your family, from your friends, from your community, from your coworkers. Like, you're not even grateful for that love because you don't have the romantic love. Like, that's when it becomes male centered for me. Also, where you're not even grateful for the ability to give yourself self-love because you put romantic love from a man on the highest of the highest pedestals, and then you kind of put everything else on a lower pedestal as if there's no real value or it has no real meaning to you in your life. So yeah, there are going to be situations like this where people are going to walk away from you because you are making it known what your priorities are, even if it is theoretically, but that says a lot, like that says a lot. People are going to walk away like it's only a matter of time before this man comes in and my ass is out. Like, I'm just a placeholder. And there was another discourse that was going on social media about how women are acting like princesses in their friendships, where their brain is still turned off when they're out with their friend and they're acting like a princess. And it's like, girl, I'm not your man. Like, girl, I'm over here grabbing for the check. Like, you over here not grabbing for the check at all. Or I'm over here trying to look to see we're lost. I'm looking at the GPS and you over here just fiddling with your thumbs and you not even trying to help me find out like we're lost. That's male centered. Like, that's toxic. Like, that come on. Like, you can't expect for people to want to be friends, women to want to be in community with you, and you're acting like that. So is there some truth here when it comes to women being male centered, when it comes to relationships, and when it comes to this woman? Absolutely. Another thing, she said man, she said men, man, she said it entirely too much. So that told me, oh baby, I can only imagine what those conversations are like with your friend, because the way she said man, man, men, man, 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 men, man, 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 men, man, 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 men, man. So I can only imagine how the friend feels. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And that's something that annoys the crap out of me, because it gives boy crazy. That's what it gives. It gives man crazy. It gives boy crazy. It gives man obsessed. And it's just like, girl. So let's continue though.
And means dating intentionally, having goals around how I date, who I date, and why I'm dating, because I have a goal in life of being married and having children. I don't understand why that is.
And I want to make it clear that even if you have pursuing a marriage and a long time partnership as a goal, I still don't think that you're male centered. Sometimes it's your approach. Sometimes it's how you treat others while having that goal. Sometimes it's also how you show up for others while having that goal, or if you do it all. Because oftentimes when women have this goal, they don't show up for others. And I was talking to an older woman that is in her 50s, and she is retired, and her husband is not retired, and she doesn't have any friends. She doesn't have anyone that she can talk to, that she can hang out with, or anything like that. And so I'm mentoring her, and I kept it real with her. I'm like, you know, you don't have anyone to be in community with in your retirement because you did not nurture those relationships. You put more effort and you nourish your marriage, but you did not keep up and nourish those friendships. So now that you're retired, your husband is not, and you have all of this free time, there's no one that's there for you outside of your marriage or your husband. And so now here you are feeling alone and isolated, feeling like you have no community. So this type of stuff, like you putting all your eggs into your marriage and just the man and everything like that, it can easily backfire, and it backfires in the most interesting ways. Because I never heard about it like this, where a woman is retired and she doesn't have any community. She doesn't have any community for like a book club. She doesn't have any community as far as like being able to meet up with a girlfriend for like drinks, or to go catch a movie, or to go shopping, or to even maybe even take a little trip during the week. There's nothing that she has outside of the marriage, the man. And she has regrets because she did not nurture those friendships and those relationships. And so when you put all of your eggs in one basket, when it comes to just the marriage and that's it, your kids get grown. Things can happen with the man. The man can get ill. The man could not be mobile. I've seen situations like that where the man's health has taken a hit, so they're not even mobile thing. And so here you are kind of like isolated and alone. So as women, it is important that you nurture those friendships. Like don't just drop those relationships, because you could go through a divorce. You could go through different life changes and milestones where you could use that community. So some women, they get married and they just don't know how to juggle it all. And I also will say that sometimes the man that you marry also matters too, because if they're super codependent on you, how are you going to be able to nurture and keep up with those friendships? How are you going to be able to do that and have kids? That's a lot. And go to work. That's a lot. So be careful about the man that you choose as well, because sometimes the man that you choose can keep you away from your friends and things like that, and isolate you in a way, because they're so demanding of your time, of your energy. And as a woman, it's exhausting trying to split all of that energy to all of these different people. But it's even more demanding when you have a man that's very clingy and codependent on your every little move that you do. So, and then you have to be careful. If a man doesn't have a healthy community of his own, he's going to be leaning on you for everything. So these are some things to look out for. But I just want to remind women that no, you're not male centered for having that as a goal, but you need to rethink the goal. You need to restructure the goal. You need to rethink why you have the goal. What is the true purpose behind this goal? And does it involve you creating a stable foundation for yourself that involves a healthy, balanced community while being in partnership? If not, if it's just lopsided and it's all about the man, you need to reevaluate that. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is just shadow work. That's all that this is. It's shadow work. She needs to reevaluate why she has the goal, why she has it in the way that she has this goal, why she feels the need to pursue it in the way that she's pursuing it, because she just lost a 10-year friendship. A person, a woman that was showing up for her for 10 years. Is that man going to show up for you for 10 years? This theoretical man that you've created in your mind, is he going to show up for you for 10 years? You don't know. You don't know, but you just lost a 10-year friendship. Some things need to be reevaluated. And to be honest, based off of this conversation, I really hope that her and her friend can work it out, even if it means they are separated for a while she does the work on herself so that she can self-improve, because this entire thing could be a catalyst for her growth. Because I would hate for her to lose out on a 10-year friendship. 10 years, that's loyalty for 10 years. I wouldn't give that up for a theoretical man that doesn't even exist. That's insane.
Such a radical idea. I understand that in this day and age, women are supposed to be focused on everything but marriage and childbearing, but that is still a goal for me because I value family and I value these ideals, because that's something that I want from my life. I want to bring children into this world and I want to have a family. Now, do I understand the nature of men? Do I understand that, yes, there.
And I also want to add too, the reason why it is important for, and this is the patriarchy, okay? The reason why it's important for you to have a community is because those people are showing up for you. Those people are showing up for you. You. The man just happens to be a part of the package deal. You, okay? You. Do not sabotage this community for just that man. That's crazy. And oftentimes the most abusive men are intimidated by women that have what? Community. Why? Because you have people that will show up for you. So you're not easy to manipulate. You're not easy to control. You're not. So you have to build that community for yourself because they're going to show up for you. And then 9 times out of 10, men want you to show up for them, right? They want you to show up for them. And then you have all of these people behind you showing up for you. So make sure you nurture those relationships, because at the end of the day, all of these people are showing up for you. This man happens to be a part of the package deal. He's showing up for you. So now you got all of these people showing up for you. And if some people fall off along the way, some people fall off along the way. But you have community backing you while supporting you through this partnership. Community is so important. And we have gotten so far away from that. Lately, even when it comes to social media content creators, I keep trying to tell people that we didn't start content creating online for brand deals, for money, for clout, for views, for subscribers. We did it for community. And we have gotten so far away from it. This is why I took a step back and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be catering to my community. I'm no longer chasing the algorithm. I'm no longer doing that. I'm focused on my community, what my community wants, what they want to see, what they're interested in, what they love, and that's it. Because that's what's going to pour into you. Your community is going to pour into you. This man may not. He may not pour into you. But to have a community backing you and pouring into you, a village pouring into you, that is crucial. That is crucial, especially when you go through certain milestones like motherhood, illnesses, or things like that. Build a community. Don't just be so focused on the man. You need to be focused on a community. The man can be a part of you building that community. So again, no, it does not make you male-centered for having that goal and having that desire. But when that's your only focus within your community is just the man, that's a problem. That's a problem.
There is a possibility of that not going exactly how I wanted to. Absolutely. But I'm having children simply because I want to have children. Those children are not for a man. Those children are for me. So if I have that goal, I'm fully prepared for everything that would come with that if I'm partnered or if I'm not.
Not.
That was a bit of a digression, but yeah, I don't understand why it's so radical to pursue relationships and pursue marriage and a family. Why is
I feel like it's radical for Black women, particularly dark-skinned Black women, because you're not supposed to be partnered. You're not supposed to be married. You're not supposed to be desired. So this is why I'm treading very lightly, very carefully when it comes to this conversation, because I will never forget one Valentine's Day. It was a Valentine's card that was posted to social media, and it was a Black woman hugging herself like this by herself. Now, it was the Black woman by herself hugging herself like this. Okay. You had a Hispanic woman with a Hispanic man, an Asian woman with an Asian man. You had a white woman with a white man. You had a queer person with another queer person. And you had a Black woman hugging herself like this. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with a Black woman hugging herself like this. But I felt like there was a very deep message behind that, as if a Black woman is not wanted and not desired. We are a monolith. So I don't understand why it was just a Black woman hugging herself when everyone else was partnered. So again, no, it does not make you male-centered for wanting to be partnered just like any other woman. But it's a problem when it's a Black woman that's demanding to be partnered and to have standards within that partnership. It's always a problem. So no, I feel like if you can't find someone that meets your standards, then the best choice after that would be singlehood. I don't think that you should force or a relationship or anything like that. I don't believe in that. But there's nothing wrong with you desiring partnership, especially when the social construct that we are living up under is marriage and is partnership. And then when you think about the economy and the world that we live in, it's getting harder and harder to live as a single person. Period. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's becoming harder and harder. And it's by design. This is intentional. This is very intentional. So, no, it doesn't make her male centered. For that, what makes her male centered is she is putting way too, there's an imbalance with her desire. There's an imbalance within her goal. And there's neglect. There's neglect when it comes to the current relationships that she has in her life. And that is the issue. It's not the desire alone. It's not the want. It is the neglect, the probably even the self-abandonment. There's some work that needs to be done within her desiring this partnership.
why is that such a big deal? Well then, I guess it's time to introduce myself, as a lot of y'all are new here. Hi guys, my name is Anika, or Neka Grant. I am 26 years old. I'm Jamaican. I was born and raised in Jamaica, came to the US at 14. I hold a bachelor's in bioethics and a minor in chemistry from Howard University. I have studied in Shanghai, China. I've solo traveled to Bangkok, Thailand, Phuket, Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand, Bali, Indonesia, Tanzania, Belize, Brazil, Colombia. I've been all over the world. I am currently building a very extensive and lucrative career in tech sales. And I am building a life on my own that is in no capacity supported by a man in any way.
She seems like a very well-rounded, beautiful, young 26-year-old. Like, honestly, she's accomplished a lot. That's why I'm like, and look at where she living. She got her own place. That's why I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The comments were so disgusting to me. And maybe I need to reword my phrases. Maybe I don't, the modern feminists, maybe y'all are more misogynistic, and maybe I need to stop labeling you feminist. I need to start labeling you the female misogynist, because I really think that like, she should not want that. She shouldn't want that, even though she has her life together. She's well traveled. There are things that she does outside of men, right? But I think that there is a little jealousy here. I think that there is some envy here. I do. And I went to her TikTok. She's beautiful. Body is banging. Body is tea. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on in them comments, but the comments are very weird, especially with the dog piling. It was a little obsessive, and I'm like, dang. Now, is there some shadow work that's needed? Absolutely. But I don't think that's proper sisterhood where you just dogpile and you gang up on this girl and you drag her. I mean, that.
I have very intentional and large financial goals for myself and my family, and that is something that I am building without a man. Again, or on top of that, I am also interested in marriage and family. I do want to get married. Dating men, it is a focus for me in my life.
And I have to be real with y'all. This is forbidden. She is not supposed to want to be with a man. In 2026, you are not supposed to want to desire a man at all. You're supposed to desire, as a heterosexual woman, you're supposed to desire a bisexual man before you can desire a heterosexual man and a partnership and a marriage with kids. Things are getting very weird. So I'm treading very lightly when it comes to this conversation because the things that I've seen within the last few weeks, what is the plot here? I think we done lost the plot. What's the goal here? So she's not supposed to desire that at all. She's not supposed to want that at all. But for me, when it comes to this conversation, I do hear an imbalance. I do. I do hear the imbalance in her speech. I do. But I still don't consider her to be male-centered strictly because of her desire alone. I do think that she is male-centered because, like I said, it seems like there's an imbalance within this desire. Like she may be putting a little too much focus onto this. And if you're on my Patreon, I did a reading. I think it was PAL 2, putting too much focus into love, wanting to find it. And also it's being spiritual, that you're being made to wait because there's transformation that needs to take on within yourself. You need to take on within yourself in order to get to that level of attracting a partner. And what was the transformation? Emotional maturity. There was some emotional maturity that you needed to transform within yourself. There was intuition that you needed to trust, that you needed to transform. You needed to reconnect with your intuition, that a man shouldn't be able to come in and just throw off your life, that you shouldn't be second guessing yourself when it comes to your inner voice. There was some transformation that needed to take place within yourself before that this man can come in or this partnership can come in. But that work has to be done first. There's some things that you have to do and you have to work on within yourself because it's actually preparing you for that relationship. But are you ready? Some of you are not. I'm going to be real with you. Some of you are not ready for that relationship. You're not a good communicator. You're not great with emotional regulation. There's some things that you need to transform. But the thing is, they didn't say it's not in the cards for you. They said it was, but they said there's some things that you need to transform. And honestly, one thing that I noticed too, as a spiritualist, a lot of women put focus on love and relationships, and it runs from them. The only thing that they attract with that are karmic lessons. But when you focus on yourself and when you focus on alchemy, transmutation, transformation, leveling up, and things like that, you actually attract that way. When you're not focused on that and you're focused really on yourself and transforming yourself and all of that stuff, you actually attract that way. But when you put all the focus in the love and the romance and the relationships and you're obsessed with how your future is going to be and how it's going to look, it's going to keep running from you. So keep that, like, stop focusing on men. I'm telling you, when you stop focusing on men, that's when love comes to you. You become more attractive. But again, you got to hold steady on your boundaries and your standards, that even when you do become more highly attractive, you can't just get rid of your boundaries and your standards because, again, you're repeating the cycle again. So there's some work that has to be done. There's some cycles that have to be broken. There's a loop over your life that has to be broken. There's a pattern over your life that has to be broken. And once you do that work, you'll attract a good partner. So you're not in this cycle, or you don't have this loop over your life where you keep attracting these girl, I mean, the energy was weird. You're attracting men that are runners, right? Like they come in, they get you emotionally invested. You give them access immediately because of chemistry. You think this is the one, and you get really excited, and you get all you're all in basically. And then they do the whole bait and switch. The reason why that keeps happening, and I said it in the reading, the reason why it keeps happening is because you are avoiding parts of yourself that you need to transform. And so once this person comes in and they do the whole bait and switch because they're avoidance, the reason why you keep attracting men like that is because there's parts of you that's avoidant. So you attract an avoidant. So the more you avoid this part in yourself that needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be worked on, it needs to be transformed, you're going to keep attracting the avoidant that's going to come in and show you that you need to focus on the parts of yourself that you keep avoiding. Okay? I know it sounds crazy, but just trust me on this. Just trust me on this. Focus on the parts of yourself that you avoid. Stay away from the men that come in, get you hooked and emotionally invested and attached. Then they do the bait and switch. You become the chaser. They're the avoidant. And it's because you keep attracting an avoidant because of the parts of yourself that you're avoiding. And if you would just confront that and transform that, then you'll be out of this cycle. This is a cycle that's been in your life for a while. It's been over your life for a while. You'll actually break that cycle. You'll break the pattern. You'll cut the loop that's over your life, and then you'll elevate and attract better partnerships. That's what that's about. That's why it keeps happening. It's like repetitive. It's like you keep meeting a new guy, but it's the same thing. So break that loop, break that cycle, break that pattern. And it starts with you not avoiding yourself and avoiding the things that you need to change. Address them head on, transform it, transmute it. Come on, you're a divine feminine. That's what we do. We transmute, we alchemize, we transform.
Because of my goal to get married and have children, these things exist together. I have a life that is full on my own. I have many friends. I have many things that I do, many things that I'm interested in, many interests, and I still pursue relationships. Hello, nice to meet you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
But one thing that I will say is pursuing relationships tells me a lot about what she's probably experiencing, because when you are in that energy of pursuit, you are going to be in this, you're going to have this pattern in your life where you're a chaser. Even, and then this is another thing. I know she's saying pursuit, and I'm pursuing a partnership ultimately because I hope that it leads to marriage, but also because you're in that space energetically that this is something you're pursuing instead of pursuing yourself, like elevation, self-betterment, self-development, and things like that. But because you're energetically in that space, you're going to keep calling in partners that are gonna require you to chase them still, even though you're just pursuing marriage, right? But you're still gonna attract a lot of partners that are in that chaser, runner energy. Okay, so they're running, you're chasing. They're running, you're chasing. And then it's so annoying because when this happens, they pursued you. You were pursuing marriage. They pursued you. And then it leads to you chasing them. That's the dynamic that's going on. So what you do to transmute that, because basically it's kind of similar to, there's a thin line between love and hate. It's kind of similar to that, where someone loves you, but then the same intensity can also be said as the same intensity of love can be seen as hate as well. And it all depends on the projection, right, of the emotion. So when it comes to that line of thin love, the thin line between love and hate, it ultimately comes down to the projection of it, right? So the same thing with the runner and chaser, where it's a thin line between, okay, yeah, you're pursuing marriage, but there's a thin line between that energetic frequency of pursue versus attract. So if you are in this mindset of pursuing marriage, he's in this mindset of pursuing you, right? And when it comes to pursuing you, this man can waste your damn time. I mean, he don't got to stick around. He don't got to stick around. He could just be pursuing you. Meanwhile, you're pursuing marriage. But there's that thin line between pursuing and attracting. You're leaning more into the pursuing, not the attracting. So you're attracting someone that wants you to ultimately pursue them. So then you end up in this chaser, and it's like this bait and switch. It's energy. That's all that it is. It's energy. So you have to kind of flip the energy within yourself, not to be so focused on the pursuit of marriage, to be more focused on the pursuit of happiness, peace, self-love, and things like that. And I know everybody says that shit. I know everybody says that shit. Everybody says this shit, but it's true. It's true. And then with you doing that, you become more attractive, where people or you have the ability to attract people that are going to chase you instead of you feeling like you have to chase them. So it's the bait and switch, but you need to transmute the energy within yourself so that you can attract better. But that's the work that you have not done. So she's probably dealing with a lot of men that she has to ultimately chase. They may get her hooked. They may put her on the fishing rod, get her emotionally hooked, and then eventually they want to throw her back in the lake or the pond. They don't want to keep her. And it's because she's in this pursuit energy energetically. That's what that is. So she just has to eventually just work on transmuting and transforming herself. And once she does that work, she'll probably have completely different results within her love life, where she'll actually attract better suitors. I'm not saying that it guarantees love, marriage, or anything, because nothing in life is guaranteed. However, it would increase your chances for you to get what you're actually wanting. Okay. But you got to change the energy that you're kind of giving off, because she's giving off this very strong energy. Like, yeah, I'm pursuing marriage. But when you do that, you attract people that are going to ultimately want you to chase them, because you're in that energy of pursuing marriage. So you need to instead pursue happiness, pursue peace, pursue love that you're currently getting in your life. The best friend of 10 years, that's not a friendship I would just easily toss away. I would try to work it out, even if it means, hey, friend, I took what you said, and if you haven't burned a bridge, let me try to work on myself, and maybe we can try this again after I've done a little bit of therapy. I really work on myself, and then maybe we could come back around to this relationship if you really feel like this is worth salvaging. So I would try that. But she just needs to change the energy that she's giving off. Like, even me, as the internet, we're all taking in like, girl, you really want this marriage, girl, you really want this man. So men can pick that up. Men can pick that up like, oh, she really wants something long time. They can pick that up and use that and weaponize that against you. And then if you're avoiding parts of yourself that needs to be worked on, then you're going to attract avoidant. You're going to attract the worst type of men with that. So this is all to increase your chances. This is not to guarantee marriage or anything. It's just to increase your chances. And if you know anything about love, it's all about positioning and increasing your chances. But with anything in life, nothing is guaranteed. But these are some things that you could change, critique a little bit, and see if your chances or if your luck in love doesn't increase.
Welcome to my TED Talk. Let's start off by setting some ground understanding of who I am. I'm a 26-year-old Jamaican-born American living here in America. I am a graduate of Howard University with a bachelor's in bioethics and a minor in chemistry. I am an average traveler. I did my study abroad in Shanghai, China for a month. I have solo traveled to Bangkok, Thailand, Phuket, Chiang Mai, Bali, Indonesia. I've traveled to Zanzibar, Tanzania, Colombia, Brazil, Belize, and many other countries around the world. That is an avid part of my life. I am deeply passionate. I'm a deeply passionate person. So whatever is going on in my life, I am always 10 toes behind. With that being said, I think the first thing I want to address is this overarching idea that I have nothing else to focus on or nothing else going in my life because I am so focused on men. When I said that dating men is a big focus for me, that doesn't mean it's my only focus or my only big focus. I'm just a very articulate and a direct person. So yes, I'm very focused on dating men. I'm also very focused in my career. I'm very focused in my friendships. I'm very focused in my extracurricular activities. I'm very focused on traveling. All of these things deserve and they get just as much attention as my dating life. I see a lot of people talking about how my friend was probably yearning for deeper conversations with me. Again, I have a interdisciplinary studies degree where I concentrated a lot in philosophy. That being said, that was always a point of conversation with me and her. Not because this specific video where I'm talking about one specific thing that she brought up as an issue, that doesn't mean that we didn't have conversations about anything else. We talked about philosophy, we talked about food, we talked about travel. We even had plans to visit Korea, Seoul, Korea, for my birthday in November before she stopped talking to me or ghosted me. We talk about our dogs, we talk about family, we talk about our goals, we talk about different things. People taking this one video and saying that I am bombarding this lady with this one topic of conversation don't really understand the nuance of this topic. Not because I'm addressing this one thing means that it's the only thing that we talk about. I also said that I am pursuing men in the video. I think that was probably just me miswording what I was trying to say. I mean, I pursue relationships or romantic relationships with men. And that doesn't mean that I'm going out of my way. And I understand the definition of pursuing, but that doesn't mean I'm going out of my way to date men or to find men to date. That means that I am...
And I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it as she's going out of her way to find, but energetically, she is in pursuit. She's not in this energy of attract. And that matters. That matters. That matters. That matters. That matters. That matters. I did not take it as she was physically going out here pursuing, looking for marriage, but energetically she is. And it's very strong. I don't think that she knows that she's kind of giving that energy off, but a lot of us can feel it. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I can, girl, it is strong, girl. She want that man. All right. She want that marriage. And listen, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to shame her when it comes to that. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. But there's an imbalance with priorities. So that makes me believe that when it comes to this friend, she probably felt like she was like a placeholder or something like that. That's probably why she decided to kind of distance herself, because she's like, it's only a matter of time before she ditches me. And here I am investing all my time into this friendship in hopes that this person will consistently show up for me and be there for me in community and, you know, in being a part of my village, where just she has this very strong energy of I want this, and I get it. You know, when you desire something so strongly like that, I don't want to say so passionately, maybe even ambitiously, but it's when it comes to partnership in relationships, though sometimes it could come across and people may feel neglected or alienated at times because your focus may be elsewhere. And then the worst part is your focus may be elsewhere over a theoretical situation that it's theoretical. It's not even here. Meanwhile, your friend is right here. She's with you right now in this moment. And so she may have felt alienated or neglected or abandoned or emotionally drained. So yeah, that's where to me the reflection truly needs to come in. It's like, we can feel the energy off of you that you really, 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 really want to be in this relationship. And it makes me question, is this associated with your worth? Is this associated with your age? Is this associated with boxes being checked off in your mind? Because another thing is, like, this entire duration within this conversation, she has spoken a lot about, you know, what she has accomplished and things like, oh, I got this off the list. I got this off the list. I got this off the list, but I have not gotten that marriage off the list. So it's like, I'm kind of picking that up in her speech. And I believe that the internet was picking that up as well. So even though in her mind, she may not feel that she's coming across this way, but she's coming across this way to us. And if she's coming across this way to us, I can only imagine how she may have been coming across to her friend, where she feels more safe to be vulnerable, you know, and to really be herself. So if we can feel the internet, if we can feel it and we're complete strangers, and I don't want her to feel bad for desiring it, but again, I feel like it all just ties into, there's an imbalance though. There's an imbalance with it.
reacting and replying to the advances that I'm getting. So the romantic advances that I get, I choose what to do with. That is what I mean, or what I meant by pursuing romantic relationships. I see comments about how I am being more invested in finding a man than being a good friend. That is not the case. Most of our time together, because we live in different cities, has been me prompting that to spend that time together, has been me going to her city, me showing up for her events, me showing up for her birthday, and me traveling to where she's at, me calling, me texting, me FaceTiming, me doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this relationship. So I think before we judge, we should probably ask, to have more conversation or more context in the conversation, because a lot of the things that you guys are saying is simply not true. A lot of people are saying that marriage isn't something that I can control. I completely agree with that, but there are decisions that I can make and steps that I can take to ensure that I am aligned, or I align myself with men who are like-minded and have the same goals. I completely understand that I cannot control the outcome, but I can prepare myself for the best case scenario. I also understand that marriage is not the end all be all. I never said that it was. I just said that it's something that I'm deeply interested in, and it's a big part of my life. Well, at least the goal of being married. There are many other deeply interesting parts and goals in my life. Someone was saying, thank you for keeping the video up to prove my ex-friend's point. I'm not really easily swayed, guys. I am, well, contrary to what you guys believe, I actually have a very strong sense of self, and I can stand with myself even when the whole world is against me, because it's me with me until the wheels fall off. I am deeply committed to myself, and so this conversation or the comments is not really swaying my moral compass or how I feel about myself.
I like her. I know y'all don't like her, but I do. I like her. I do. I like her. There's just some tweaking that she need to do, but I like her because even though she is the opposite of me when it comes to this marriage thing, I feel like a lot of women just need to go get married and get it over with, because the way y'all put this shit on a pedestal, do y'all some of y'all, I feel like y'all have never seen marriage up close. I do. Like, sometimes I feel like y'all haven't seen it up close. When you see real marriage up close, you would not be putting this shit on the pedestal in the way that y'all are putting shit on a pedestal. You have to grow with a person. You have to consider their feelings, their emotions, their goals. You have to consider their family. You have to take on their whole family. You also have to consider, the financial side of things, the debt that comes with dealing with another person and being married to another person. You have to have goals with that person. You have to meet in the middle and create goals. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into a marriage. Okay. And it's not to scare people. It's really, really not to scare people. It should just be real about what marriage requires of you as an individual, not just even as a woman, but just as an individual, requires a lot out of you, and then you have an accountability partner too that's constantly holding you accountable. If you have a good partner that's going to hold you accountable when it comes to certain things. But when you're single, you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to worry about that. And I get it. Some people just want to be married and be in that relationship and create memories and traditions and uphold traditions and things like that. And I really love that for you. But some of you are putting it on this unrealistic Disney fairy tale princess pedestal. And that is what I'm saying. Like, ooh, I don't know about that. I think ultimately it's okay to have a goal like that, but you just got to be careful about how you're shaping that goal in your mind, though. So many women get married and they want the wedding, but they didn't think about the work that it takes afterwards. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of work. Your partner may get sick, lose their job. Your partner may go through like mental health issues and struggles and things like that. And that's the thing. If you're a good friend, then you probably have an idea of what of a marriage would take, because to be a good partner in marriage would mean to be a good friend. And if you can't even establish a good foundation of being a good friend with the friends that you have in your life, then you're not ready for marriage. If you can't even be a good friend to the people that you're in friendship with, because you would need to be a friend first, even to have a marriage. So there's a lot that goes into it. And I just wish the girls would go ahead and, go get married, girl, get it over with, get the itch, get it out your system, honey, because some of y'all just need to get it out your system. I really do believe that, because there's so much that comes with marriage. There's a lot of work that has to be done. And really, the work that you need to do on yourself, you would have to share that with another person. And then they come with a load of work that they have to do. And then y'all come together and y'all do the work together. That's a lot. Like that is a lot. It's not just the wedding. It's not just the vacations and spending quality time. Those things are like the highlight moments. But when real life hits, like the economy, gas, groceries, oh, I know I can handle and manage that stress, but will your partner know how to manage that type of stress? Like that's the type of stuff that I don't hear women talk about. I hear y'all talk about the wedding, the ring, the kids, the holidays, the trips, and the be in it with that person. Like you really got to be in it with that person. And then you have to choose them every single day, even when they piss you off. That's a huge commitment. And y'all are just like, yes, 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 that's what I want. That's what I want. And I'm just like, girl, sometimes I don't even be liking myself sometimes. Like I did something really stupid the last week, y'all, and I'm just like, why the fuck would you do that? Luckily, it's just me. You know what I mean? Luckily, it's just me. But if I had a partner, oh my God, I'd probably still be hearing them riding my ass right now. You know what I mean? Like I think about stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the girls need to just get it out of their system. Like if you need to get married, hell, go get married. And then I didn't even add kids to it. I didn't add kids to it. Every time I hit a curb or I scratch the rim on the side of my car, I'm like, oh, thank God I ain't got no damn man. You know what I mean? Like, damn, you hit another curb. Like, I think about stuff like that. Or when I impulsively spin, oh, I don't gotta hear about that. I mean, like, these are real marital things. Like when I'm doing things that I don't want to be clocked, held accountable for, I don't got nobody breathing down my neck about it. It's called freedom, liberation. And I think the girls need to soak it up just a little bit more. Okay. I saw a woman, she got off work. She had her backpack on, her lunchbox that she went into work with, and she went straight to the kitchen. And her husband was like, "You're not gonna take your work clothes off, your backpack off your back." She was like, if I don't start cooking right now, we're not gonna eat." And she was in the kitchen. I'm like, that's real. Like that's marriage, And maybe she agreed to cook that night. Maybe her husband was working late too. And so he came in the kitchen like, you're not gonna take your backpack off and put your lunch box down, and you're not. That's real, y'all. That's real. But I think a lot of women, they got that fantasy stuff. But I seen it up close, and I seen it in real life. And then when you add kids into it, oh, it becomes a lot more to juggle and to manage. So I think some of the girls just need to get it out their system and just go ahead and just go through with it so that you can see, what it requires of you up close. And then maybe your second marriage, you'll be more successful at it. See, I'm being so for real because I'm 34, and that's all I be seeing. On one hand, I see women in my age group, they're getting divorced, they're happy as hell. Then on another hand, I see women panicking, freezing their eggs, becoming super religious, and are dating like it's a sport. And then you have the other women that are just like, we're just gonna chill. Like you have three different groups here, and I'm the woman that's just fucking chilling because I'm just like, I skipped out on my first divorce. That's how I see it. I'm like, I skipped out on my first divorce. I don't have to go through my first divorce. That's how I see it. The other girls are panicking and all of that. And I'm like, listen, that ain't for me. So I think some of you just need to get it out your system. Go ahead and get married. I don't even believe in fighting women on it no more. I feel like you should just go ahead and get married and get it over with, get it out your system. Because if you're going to force it like this, then you need to see why you shouldn't. That's a lesson in itself. So I think some women just need to get it out their system.
Yeah, and I see people talking about the most important relationships in my life were going to be my friendships. Absolutely agreed. I give my friendships 100%. I am very introspective. I am very quick to ask, how can I be a better person in the situation? If I do something wrong, I'm very quick to listen intently and to change my behavior. And I'm very deeply devoted to the people in my life, deeply devoted to my friendships, deeply devoted to changing when I need to change and to show up in the ways that are important to the people in my life. So I just urge you guys not to take, a few seconds and come up with, a whole, definition of who you think someone is. I was simply just focusing on that part of my life, or that aspect of my life, which is dating men, because that was the aspect that she specifically had an issue with. That does not mean that I'm not well-rounded
Ooh.
and well-versed. I am well-educated, I'm well-traveled, I speak multiple languages, I have multiple interests, I have a very blooming career, and I have many things that I am focused on. Dating and being in relationships and marriage just happens to be one of those things, and I'm very passionate about the things that I'm focused on in my life. So, thank you for listening. I hope this gives you more insight into who I am as a person, and also do whatever you want to do. The internet is going to be the internet. People are going to talk. It's just, for me, it's just me taking in, what's important to me, and holding fast on my beliefs. And I hope you do the same.
And that's why I like her, is because she is holding true to her belief. But like I said, I do think that this friendship breakup of 10 years should be a catalyst for transformation. Okay, there's some imbalance. There's some things that she could work on to create more of a balance within this desire of wanting to be partnered with a man. Again, I'm going to repeat myself and say that she's not male-centered simply because she desires to be partnered. She is male-centered because she is centering a man in her life prior, and in a theoretical way that most likely is compromising the relationships that she currently has in her current reality, where people are showing up for her and they feel like they're a placeholder, or they may even feel alienated in their friendship with her or relationship with her. And community is important. Community is important when it comes to your life as a woman. You need community. So that's my only critique as far as like her male centeredness. But let's get into the story time that she gave on her TikTok about how or why this friendship ended.
Get ready with me while I tell you why my best friend of almost 10 years ended up ghosting me. So, if you've seen my viral video, I came to TikTok and asked a question of whether I was male-centered, because my friend of almost 10 years had told me that I was essentially talking about men too much in our friendship, and that's why I thought she had ghosted me. So I just want to preface this with saying that the video is 2 minutes. I was on, my little...
I also want to add this too before she gets into it. To the women where you may be confused on, maybe this has happened to you. One thing that I noticed, I've separated myself from women that are male-centered as well, because one thing that I notice is sometimes it's not that you talk about men, it's how you talk about them. It's how you talk about them. I was becoming close to a woman not that long ago, and the reason I separated myself from her was because of how she talked about men. First of all, there were some things that I noticed where she was insecure, and to boost her confidence, it was about male validation. And I could tell just by how she would say certain things and the ways that she would say certain things. And it just would rub my spirit the wrong way, because women that seek male validation, they are easy to backstab you, because I've been backstabbed a lot. So like when it comes to friendships, I'm looking and I'm discerning you, because I'm trying to decide like, okay, I done been betrayed, I done been backstabbed enough. I'm not trying to go through that again. So there were some signs in my past friendships that I kind of overlooked. And so now I'm like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, because even though she's just speaking very lightly about men, but the way she is speaking on men and then in correlation with herself, it gave, oh yeah, this boosted my confidence, instead of she is confident, and instead of embodying confidence, she is relying on a male to boost her confidence. And I'm just like, nope, we're not doing that. So I ended up separating myself, and I started to see a pattern. I tried to give her a chance, I really did, but I started to see a pattern with it where I'm just like, it just no. And then as a woman that has done work, you'll get to a point, because some women get afraid, like once you get betrayed and things like that, you become fearful, maybe even jaded to put yourself back out there. But the wisdom that you gain from those past experiences, it's coded in, Like it's like wired into your nervous system where women will literally say certain things and you're like, ooh, it rubs your spirit the wrong way. And you're like, that's your discernment. Like you're having a spiritual experience called discernment. And you're like, you know, I overlooked that in the past and we're not doing that anymore. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there to make or to try to make and connect with new people, because your nervous system, your discernment, with you working on yourself, it's working. It's gonna work. So don't feel like, oh, but I overlooked it the last time, or I didn't see it the last. You're going to see it moving forward. You didn't see it then because you weren't aware. You're aware now. Okay, so there's alarms that go off now where you're like, nope, and it could be so minor, but it could be so huge because you have gained wisdom, you've gained discernment. So that's what that is. So I do question how she talks about men in her friendship, because that will tell me a lot too about why this friend most likely decided to end it. And I don't think anyone that just ends a 10-year friendship is doing that willy-nilly. I think there's a lot of reflection that went into it. I think that there may have been some bridges that were burned, a last straw that was taken, and so she just decided to end it. So let's see what she has to say. But keep that in mind, that how you talk about men could be a dead giveaway about why that friend may label you male-centered and why she chose to disconnect and cut you off.
Out of the corner of TikTok, and I was simply just ranting, because deep down, honestly, it was something that was affecting me deeply, and it was something I thought about every day. More importantly, it was something that happened months ago. It happened in January. So I lined my brows off camera, but I'm using the ABH concealer in 21. And I'm going to just place that under my under eye, just essentially my T-zone. But just to give you some background, this is something that happened in January. We had stopped talking, or she had ghosted me in January, and it's August, and I'm still reminiscing about it. And I came to the internet to essentially just vent. So that 2 minutes of context that you had seen, in no way, in no capacity, could really give you a full view or a full understanding of a friendship of almost 10 years. So that's that. And to answer probably the most asked question, honestly, I didn't address my actual friendship with my friend, because when this had happened in January, I said in the video that she had ghosted me, right? So I really didn't have much insight into why the friendship ended. We haven't spoken since January. So I kind of, like, in my rant or in the moment, I thought, or I wanted to simply address my perspective and how I was showing up in the friendship, as opposed to why it actually ended and my actual relationship with my friend. So I see all the comments, I see all the conversation about, me not being a good friend because I didn't even address my friend once. Genuinely, this is something that has been on my heart for many months, and I simply just didn't have enough information to really address.
And listen, I know a lot of y'all don't feel her or whatever, but if she was really just this male-centered, cold-hearted person, she wouldn't care. I know some male-centered women, they don't even notice that you cut them off. She's not like that. Like there's a part of her that really wants to know why. You know what I mean? And it could be because she lacks the self-awareness. Not everyone out here is intentionally just being a horrible friend. Like some people literally just don't know. And they need to be told, if they haven't done anything like, toxic. But I do question, like, okay, girl, she ghosted you though? Because a ghost means serious offense. Or was this like a last straw? Like this is like something you did and it's just like, this is the last straw. Could it be jealousy? For the sake of nuance, it could be. I don't think that that's what that is. Is she a beautiful girl? Absolutely. She's a beautiful woman. I don't think that that's what this is. I haven't really seen anything that would give that away, but I just based off of her life, okay, and how she lives, that could be a possibility, but I'm not really getting jealousy. I'm not really getting that. But let's just continue and see where this goes, because I don't know where this goes. I have not watched it.
What happened or where or why our friendship you know was dismantled. So I kind of just left it alone because I really didn't have much to say on that yet. So I use just like a small highlighter brush just to blend out all of my concealer. And also I saw the comments that my concealer is too yellow or too bright or too warm for my tone. And noted, I will try another concealer, but for the time being, we're going to use this concealer because this is the one that I am used to. But anyways, back to the point of matter. To address the comments about I haven't talked about my friend once, this person is probably one of the closest, if not the closest person to me in my life, or was.
Wow.
She's more like a sister to me, and I
Wow.
love her dearly. Again, the video was just 2 minutes, and I didn't have much time to really go in depth about
And if she's not claiming jealousy, I don't think we should either.
who this person was to me. But yeah, this was somebody who I value dearly in my life. I thought it was only fair to come back and let you guys actually know what happened because I put y'all in my business anyway. So here we are. I'm using the Makeup by Mario foundation in 26N. And I'm just putting that, where I did not put concealer. And I'm going to essentially just blend that out. So I wanted to address it because I talked to my friend. I went to her and I'm like, hey, I talked about this on the internet and it's kind of blowing up. So I only felt it was necessary to address it with you before you saw it on your own. And after finally hearing her side, it completely changed the way I understood.
It doesn't seem like she got ghosted. It seems like her friend distanced herself. That's what it sounds like. This doesn't sound like a ghost. There's cutoff. That person wants nothing to do with you. And I feel like when someone cuts you off, there's disrespect involved, there's manipulation, there's lies, there's deceit. And so at that point, I don't feel like a person owes you a conversation. I feel like loyalty is dead. Everything dies with betrayal, lies, deceit. All of that dies with me. So a cutoff is a cutoff. A ghosting would be this person disappeared for a few months, came back and acted like nothing ever happened. That's a ghosting to me. And then distance is you kind of just naturally allow silence to kind of fill in that space, of not communicating like you were before. So it's sounding like there's distance because if she was able to still reach out after the fact, it seems like she just put a little distance between them, which sometimes is healthy in relationships. So if she could reach out and have that conversation, that's a little different to me.
Understand why our friendship ended. And essentially both of us or both people were feeling lonely in the exact same friendship. And I know I said that she told me that I was talking about men too much, but that was extreme simplification of what she actually told me and what the conversation was that we had a few months before she actually had stopped talking to me.
But that says a lot about you assume that that was the only reason. That says a lot about her as far as assuming that the reason was because she was male centered. Girl, what have you put this woman through? That's what I'm going to ask. What have you put this woman through when it comes to men? Because for you to assume that, she's made some comments, she said some things to you for you to assume that. If she's saying that's kind of extreme, why would you assume that that was the reason why she ended a 10-year friendship with you? But you're saying that that's not actually the case. that that's more on the extreme side as to why she stopped being friends with me.
So I addressed it with her, and her point of view was that no, she didn't feel like I was male centered or I was talking about men too much. She just was there in my life to experience all of the traumatic events and all the sadness that I had gone through with my dating experience. And that affected her deeply because she understands, or she can see how deeply I love and how deeply I care. And to see such an important person in her life get hurt and get used, and get, kind of trophied or showed off and really not valued by the people that she was seeing, really affected her. And it affected her deeply. And I didn't know that.
So yes, she's male centered. Also, this friend sounds like she was drained, so she ended it. She's probably like, I can't do another I can't be friends with you when you go through another relationship. Also, another thing that she said earlier on in this live was that she said that they both felt alienated in this friendship. So that tells me that your values were not on the same page. And so she may have desired different things than you did. And so I think at this point, the only thing that was really holding this friendship together was time. And I already talked about that. Time does not make a friendship. Time does not make a friendship. Values, growth, that makes a friendship over a course of 10 years or of 5 years, 3 years, or whatever the case may be. It's not just time and that's it. A lot of women think that because they have invested time into this friendship, but it bears no fruit, there's no growth, there's no transformation, there's no level up, there's no there's no communion, just surviving and maybe trauma dumping and things like that does not make a sustainable friendship. It's just, this is somebody that you're cool with. Like, that's all that is. So I don't think I'm starting to think that in 2026 women don't know what it means to be a friend in a friendship. They don't know what is truly required of them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're gonna be in a friendship with someone and it's a good friendship, it requires growth. If you're going to be in a good marriage, it requires growth. No relationship can you be in, doesn't matter if it's sibling, cousin, no matter what. If you're not growing, then y'all surviving. That's it. Y'all are surviving together. And so it seems like the friend that decided to end things, she's tired of surviving. She's probably burnt out. She's probably emotionally exhausted, burnt out, tired. And she's just like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. So she ended it. And I respect the friend for doing that, because now this has created a catalyst in this woman's life to do what? Grow, maybe get some therapy.
We had that conversation. So I'm going to use the one size setting powder in marigold to essentially set my highlight. But essentially, from my perspective, the friendship felt incredibly one-sided. We had lived in different cities, and over time, I felt like I just knew her less and less. I didn't know the things that excited her, what she was doing on a daily basis, her new friends, the things that make you feel like someone. I feel like I didn't know. And
it's because you drained her. So her highlights, her new relationships and things like that, you wouldn't know about. And I don't believe her. I don't know. I don't believe her when she says that it wasn't because she talked about men too much. If you don't know much about your friend, or you don't feel included into things, I could tell you right now, it's probably because the conversation is always about your shit, things you're going through. men or whatever else you got going on. And typically when you got a bad male in your life, like you got like a dysfunctional male in your life, everything else a mess too. Everything else is a mess too. When you allow a toxic, dysfunctional man into your life, he just wreaks havoc over everything. It starts to bleed into everything else that you got going on in your life. So she's probably used to being that other person on the phone and you're just dumping and she's just listening. And after a while, that becomes draining. So she wouldn't come to you over exciting news or new things that she has going on in her life. She probably avoids you. So if you don't know what's going on in your friend's life, it's not because she didn't want to tell you that. You haven't been that person for her to tell those things to. Because most likely everything has been about men and what you going through with the men that you choosing to deal with. Cause if she's sitting back and she's watching you go through all of that, I mean, there's times where she may have felt guilty for expressing excitement or talking about other things that she has going on in her life because things are not going well for you. So it over time, it creates a space where she probably just didn't feel comfortable sharing certain things with you that involved other things that didn't involve y'all being friends. So she may have separated you from this part of her life that it sounds like you wanted to be a part of, but to be a part of that part of her life, it would require you to work on yourself because you would just come with heavy energy dealing with men like that that's treating you like that. That's crazy. I wouldn't be I just there's just certain things I wouldn't even feel comfortable inviting her to because she would come with such heavy draining energy. So yeah, um I hope she reflects on this situation.
You know, when you know someone for almost 10 years, there's something incredibly painful that you realize when you're like, I love this person deeply and I feel like I just don't know them anymore. So I tried
Ooh,
harder.
that's so real.
I called, I visited, I shared what was happening in my life. And because dating was one of the things that was happening in my life that I felt like was, a common ground because that was something that we shared, for many years in college. I talked about that and I talked about it a lot. So
And the issue is that if this has been going on since college, that means that there's no growth and this is a continuation. So that means that she's been in this cycle for a long time. And if she's been in this cycle for a long time, that means that the friendship has been drained over time. So the friend has nothing left to give. She has nothing left to give. And so she ended it. And then it's also worse when she's created new friendships, new relationships where they're not draining. They're not as taxing emotionally. So, and then if you're draining and you're causing her to be burnt out and emotionally exhausted, why would she share her highlight moments with you? She wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. She probably protects her highlight moments from you because you're draining. And those are her moments where she gets charged or she's rejuvenated. She may even come alive. But then when you come and you come with all your baggage that you've been having since college, it's like, ugh, it's like a lot. So, and then another thing too is sometimes when you've been friends with someone over an extended period of time and you showed up in a role like being that listening ear, that shoulder to cry on, they expect that. They sometimes feel entitled to you when it comes to having that experience with you. So she could carry that type of energy too.
I was sharing or I was experiencing all of that sharing as emotional intimacy, and she was experiencing it as emotional exhaustion. Now I have two palettes, well, two Patrick Ta blushes, and I'm going to use both of them. But she had experienced me dating, when I was younger and up until now, and she experienced her best friend, being treated less than she deserved, belittled, put on a pedestal or placed like a trophy. And, in her perspective, it was like whenever I would talk about a new person, it was like, my best friend, who I've seen go through all of this is dating again. And, absolutely 100% I can understand how that can be exhausting for her. And, you know, she tried to tell me through conversations that we've had in the past, but I really didn't understand the emotional depth behind the boundary that she was trying to set.
I really think that the emotional intimacy wasn't something that was healthy or balanced. And the reason is because it sounds like she ended the relationship because remember when I said that when it comes to being friends with someone, a friendship, it's not just about survival, that you have to share joy, happy times, new experiences. You have to play, you have to laugh. That the emotional intimacy cannot just be trauma, and it can't just be you opening up and being vulnerable about your insecurities and your hard times and your hardships and things like that. That it also involves joy, happiness, peace. And this is how women get drained in marriage. This is how women get drained in marriage, because there's no romance, there's no joy, there's no spontaneity, there's no excitement anymore. It's just emotional labor. And the type of emotional labor is his ego, his insecurities, you know what I mean? So again, back to what I said earlier, it's sounding like there was a huge imbalance here. And that's what she needs to transform. That's what she needs to transmute. And that's what she needs to work on. First of all, it would improve her friendships and her relationships with women. And it would also help her improve how she's attracting men to begin with, and the type of men that she's attracting. So she just needs to do some shadow work, honestly. She needs to do some shadow work.
And because I already felt like, you know, I was kind of losing access to my best friend, I kind of just kept going with like what I knew, what we were always doing, you know, since college. You know, I felt disconnected, so I tried harder to connect, and she felt emotionally exhausted, so she pushed away or pulled away even further. So what I just did was I just used a regular black liner. Oh God, it broke. And just line my lips. And we're gonna have to go to part 2 for the finishing touches.
Definitely. People were talking about how her culture could be playing a major role in this as well. And I don't deny that at all. The pressure of her family, society, the culture as a whole. So that could be what is kind of pressuring her to partner and find someone, especially at the age of 26. And then if she's accomplished all of these things, if it is a part of her culture, then that would also be a part of her accomplishments as well. So yeah, I can see that as well.
All right, guys, we are back. So all I did was take the Fenty lip gloss. I'm not sure if this is called the Fenty Balm or the Fenty Cream, but it is in the shade Fenty Glow number 2, and I placed it over the black liner. And sometimes, you know, for a little extra oomph, I go in with my actual eyeliner, and I just lightly do that. There we go.
And she really does need to transform this, because I've seen women around my age that they have not deconstructed. And it's not that you have the desire, but sometimes when you desire something so much that you force it, you compromise yourself so much into a cage, and then you have to self-abandon, and then you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself. You're doing things and putting up with things that you said that you never would put up with, and now you're in this life where you feel trapped. That's one of my biggest fears. And so as a 34-year-old that's seeing women become super religious out of nowhere, they're freezing their eggs, they're panicking, and here I am just chilling, because I know that ultimately when it comes to forcing things, it puts you in a cage. Puts you in a cage. And then you start compromising and compromising and compromising. And next thing you know, you've backed yourself into a cage. And it's hard to get out of. Divorce is not easy for everyone. You have some divorces that are easy and you have some divorces that are not. So I sit back and I take ease with me getting older, not being married, not being partnered, because I've seen so many women panic and panic themselves right into a cage where they are miserable. Is this going to be the case for all women? No. But I'm telling you, the women that are miserable and unhappy in marriage are the ones that forced it. They forced it. They thought that they were going to miss out. They thought that their moment uh, was had passed them by. And so all they did was force it so much that they put themselves in a position now where they can't even get out. They can't leave easily. The finances are tied up. Uh, Businesses are tied up. They're tied up, so they can't just easily leave. So be careful about forcing things. Be careful about compromising and compromising to the point where you're compromising yourself back, like you're backing yourself into a cage. And sometimes that involves posting your relationship online. Sometimes that involves buying a house or moving a man into your house before marriage. Sometimes that looks like going into business with a man that you're not married to or that you are married to, and then your finances and your livelihood is tied into that man. You have to be careful. You cannot be desperate. You cannot be desperate. It's like going into business with someone and it's the wrong business partner that you should be going into business with. And I always tell women too that God is not cruel in the sense of sending you someone that would require you to self-abandon, that would require you to back yourself into a cage where you have to compromise so much that you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even recognize who you are anymore. It shouldn't come down to that. So just be careful about that. I'm not saying that she cannot desire partnership. I'm saying how you go about it will determine your happiness, your peace while having it. Okay?
Just adds for a little bit of extra, pizzazz to the lip liner. Just kind of gives it that little thing. I love that. So back to where I left off. So yeah, she was feeling emotionally exhausted from the experiences that I had when I was younger, and even maybe recently as well, the past like year or so. And I was feeling emotionally neglected because the communication was missing. She, from my perspective, I feel like I wasn't really a part of her life anymore. And when I did try to bond, it was just unsuccessful. I do want to clarify, no, I did not talk about men and relationships and dating the whole time. That was just an aspect of our conversations.
I think some women don't understand that they kind of alienate themselves by how they carry themselves and the choices and decisions that they make in their life. That sometimes you don't get alienated because this girl is being mean and is being a mean girl to you. You're being alienated because of your choices. And sometimes your choices are poor. You make poor choices, you make poor decisions. And so you naturally get alienated. And so that takes accountability. That takes you reflecting and taking accountability over your life. That some people are not just alienating you because they don't want you to be a part of what they have going on. Some people are alienating you because they're protecting their peace. Some people are alienating you because you come with chaos. Some people are alienating you because you make bad choices and decisions. Some people are alienating you because you have addictions. They're not doing it mean spirited or being a bitch or being just simply mean to you to make you feel left out or anything. Sometimes you're being alienated because of your toxicity, your dysfunction. So she felt alienated, but she needs to reflect on how she was choosing to show up. And that's what a lot of women need to reflect on. How did you show up in that friendship? Can you honestly say you showed up in a way to where you were a joy to be around? Or were you just dumping? Were you just dumping? I had to let go of a friend because every time we met up, it was chaos in her life every single time. And I gave patience and grace, hoping that she would eventually get it together. I didn't want to judge her situation. I didn't want to judge where she was. But after a while, I started to see a cycle in her own life. I started to see a pattern in her own life. I started to see a loop in her own life that she was causing these mishaps or these upheavals in her life. And she was choosing to repeat the cycle and the patterns over and over and over again. And she wanted me to sit back and watch her go through that. As a friend, real friends are not going to sit back and watch you go through stuff like that. And you keep choosing it for yourself over and over and over and over again. You're going to become very draining. So, are you repeating things? Are you in a cycle? Do you have this pattern? Do you have this loop over your life where you keep repeating things to the point where you're draining a friend that is trying to support you through it? Because that's real. That is real. So some of you have addictions, some of you have dysfunction and toxicity, and after a while, it just becomes too much. And then this is the tricky thing about life sometimes is that you could have became friends with this person, and because y'all were both equals at that time that y'all met, this person could have chose to grow. And so because this person chose to grow and you chose to stay the same, now this person's elevating and you are an anchor to her now being drained to where she's trying to elevate and she can't. Because you're not choosing to elevate with her. You're choosing to repeat cycles, repeat patterns, continue the loop that you currently have over your life where she chose something different. So you're stuck and you're stagnant and she's elevating. So is that fair to her? Because you're not being a good friend to who she is today. You're being a bad friend to who she is today. So that's some things that I feel like women need to really they need to work on, because I've seen that too. Are you really being a good friend by staying the same and continuing to do the same thing, repeat patterns and stay in cycles? No, I'm gonna tell you right now, that makes you a bad friend. Sometimes it's not that you are mean to a friend or you're not there for a friend. Sometimes it's how you treat yourself that makes you a bad friend. How you choose to continue certain toxic cycles in your life that makes you a bad friend. It's not always how you treat the other person. So there's a lot of that that's going on too.
Now, did was that something that I brought up quite often? Maybe. Maybe, you know, sometimes when I was dating, like that was something that I would talk about, but it wasn't the only thing I talked about. We had plenty of other aspects of our lives that we would share, or at least that I would share, and we would engage in. Of course, I'm a big traveler, and we were actually planning a trip to. I think I talked about this. We're planning a trip to Korea for my birthday, and yeah, so there are plenty of other aspects of our relationships other than talking about men. And back to a point I made earlier in the video was she didn't say that I was male centered, and she clarified that she didn't think I was male centered. She was just deeply hurt by the things that she experienced from my dating history, and I can completely understand that. And because I'm someone who feels so deeply, a lot of times I just like try to move on from these experiences because I just can't dwell on them. So, while I was.
She's saying that she can't dwell on them, but have you grown from those experiences? Or are you just moving on to the next guy? Someone also said that they think that she leveled up because she's materialistically are able to do these things. Just because you're able to do things materialistically, that doesn't mean that you're elevated. It doesn't. It does not mean that you're elevated at all. I've seen too many content creators out here sabotage their whole life while having money, all because they didn't do any inner work. Just because you're able to afford things materialistically, it does not mean that you're elevated. It may mean that you're elevated materialistically, but again, if she didn't learn from those things, I mean, why would the friend why would the friend throw in the towel now? That's what I want to, like, why all of a sudden? Because is this woman, did she meet a new man? And she started talking about this new guy around the time that they went on this trip back in January. Something had to have happened. There's a huge chunk that's truly missing from this story. I've waited to see if the friend has mic'd up to log into TikTok to tell us the other side. But there's a big chunk that's kind of missing from this, because if she's not dating anyone right now, she's not male centered, it wasn't because of that, then why did she throw in the towel now? Why did she feel the need to end it now? We're talking about a 10-year friendship. There's something that's missing from her story. And she already admitted that she has had issues with the type of men that she's dated in the past that has caused her to be treated horribly. And her friend had to witness that. Her friend had to help her through those experiences. So why now?
While I thought that, oh, me moving on, me talking to somebody new, and, me trying to be happy, would make her, happy.
So she's talking to somebody new. Let me go back.
That she didn't think I was male-centered. She was just deeply hurt by the things that she experienced from my dating history. And I can completely understand that. And because I'm someone who feels so deeply, a lot of times I just like try to move on from these experiences because I just can't dwell on them. So, while I thought that, oh, me moving on, me talking to somebody new, and, me trying to be happy, would make her, happy that I'm doing better.
Baby, she be hopping from one man to the next, girl. She be out here swinging from one man to the next. She ain't reflecting. She's not doing any introspect. She's not learning. That's all that is. That basically, I'm not dwelling. Oh, so you not working on yourself in between these shitty ass experiences that you're having with men. You're just getting a new man because you're not dwelling. You're looking for your husband. You're pursuing. That's why she got dumped. That's why. So you met somebody new and she's like, oh, hell no, I'm not about to go through that. I'm not about to do another relationship. I'm not about to continue this friendship any further with you being in a new relationship with another man, and you haven't sat down to work on yourself about why you keep dealing with the same type of men that you're dealing with and why they keep treating you in the same way that they've been treating you. I'm not doing that. So that's why this new guy that she was seeing was the final straw. And the friend wanted to see transformation and wanted to see growth because she already knew what it was. She was like, I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do that with you. Not another relationship.
She was still, kind of dealing with the things that I've experienced in the past, or she still had those in the back of her mind whenever I would date someone new. So, of course, from my perspective, the communication piece was still missing. I'm still deeply hurt that I was ghosted. It's going to take me some time to reconcile and like heal from that. But hearing her perspective really gave me insight and made me understand that, even though things ended the way that they did, that doesn't mean that my best friend didn't care about me. So, all in all, at least something good came from all of this. It's been a very interesting and rough few days, dealing with the internet. And
the internet got me on their side. I'm on the internet side now. I wanted to give her a chance. I wanted to give her a chance, but now I'm like, girl, I'm on the internet side. I'm on the friend side. Now I'm not on the internet side as far as some of y'all are really being bullies in the comments. Okay, y'all really are. Y'all being bullies in the comments. And I'm talking about on TikTok. Y'all just got to go to her TikTok. The girls are being bullies and they're kind of dragging it and dogpiling. But I do think that she needs to reflect because I do think that her losing this 10-year friendship is a catalyst for her to truly grow. But she needs to see the errors in her ways and she can't continue on as if she's not the problem. She can't even continue on as if she's not the problem when it comes to the toxic relationships that she has with men. And she doesn't need to continue on thinking that when it comes to this 10-year friendship ending, that she's not the problem. She is the common denominator when it comes to her failed relationships. Common denominator. So the friend was just like, listen, I can't do another relationship with you. And this is kind of crazy because this is how I felt with a friend of mine. I couldn't do another job with her. I could not do another job with her. She had a new job I think I had been friends with her over the course of 4 years. She had switched jobs. I think she had a new job like each year that we had been friends or something like that. And I was like, I can't do another job with you because she started complaining about her new job. And I was like, and each new job that she had in the beginning, you know, it's the honeymoon phase. And she was like, oh, I love it. Everything is great. The people are great. Da, da, da. And then like about 3 months in, then she start complaining about the people, then complaining about this, complaining about that. The third job, I saw a pattern where I'm like, you're always complaining about the people. I'm like, how are you in these new environments and you're always complaining about the people? You're complaining about this, every little thing. It's like this is a new job. And then when she first starts off at the job, she sings nothing but praises. And then after she's been there for a while, then all of a sudden it's the people, it's this, it's that, they won't let me do this. And it's like, oh my God. And when she started complaining and she was saying that after she had just gotten a new job, I was like, I can't. Like I literally cannot. I don't have it in me. I cannot. So that's just what it came down to. I was like, I can't do another job with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're putting way too much on me. I mean, the first time she did it, I understood. The second time she did it, I was even understanding it. The third time, I was like, you know, my alarm was going off. The fourth time, I was like, oh no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We're not about to do this. We're not about to do this. And I gave her a real chance. But I noticed, I'm like, it's almost like wherever she goes, she just brings chaos. And then I started noticing that it wasn't even just her work. It was, you know, things start to mirror each other. She complained about her job. She complained about her dating life. She complained about her other friendships. She complained about her family. I'm like, is there anywhere where people love you? You know what I mean? Like, is there anywhere where people just love you for you and you don't have anything to complain about? It just became It just became very draining after a while. It just became very draining.
Hearing all of the think pieces and people hitting me up, and you know, it's been rough. It's been rough, but my head is held high, and I'm still very.
That is true. The jobs do be bad. They do. But I noticed a pattern in which she would complain, you know, and it was, yeah. I just noticed the pattern in how she complained where I'm like, okay, you done went to 4 different jobs, 5 different jobs. She's changed industries within the different jobs, meaning like she's not even in the same industry. So I'm just like, okay, I'm not understanding. At this point, it has to be you. And I don't know, like sometimes too, though, you choose certain environments because you're addicted to the chaos. So you choose certain work environments because you actually like the chaos. Some people do that. And I started thinking that that's what it was. Maybe she just felt like her life wasn't as exciting. I don't know. But after a while, things just stopped making sense to me. And things got to make sense to me. But things stopped making sense to me.
Comfortable,
Yeah, industry.
confident
Yeah.
in who I am. So
That's why
you know, it hasn't been really phasing me much, but I
would have felt differently if she stayed in the same industry and she was having the same issues. But I mean, she had changed different industries and was complaining. So I was just like, at this point, I don't know. But I know I don't have another therapy session in me to support you through this dysfunctional work environment. It's a lot. Okay. And then it was also draining because I'm like, well, I'm willing to support you when it comes to your businesses, but she wouldn't stay consistent and disciplined with that. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Like at this point, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I'm like, I'm trying to be supportive, trying to be there for you, but it's just like, girl, you're weighing me down. You're weighing me down, and I don't have a man. So I don't if and that's another thing. It's like to the girls where we don't have men. You think we have a high tolerance for you draining us? We don't. I'm going to tell you that right now because I wouldn't even allow a man to come in my life and drain me like you're draining me. So why would I let you? I don't even let family do it. So why would I let you? Like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't let people drain me like that. So you can't say I'm male stitcher because I keep the same energy with every damn body. I'll cut off everybody, including my mama. So no, 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 no. I have very strong boundaries. I don't play that. I don't play that. People drain me too much. Okay. If I cut off my mama, then what makes you think I'm not gonna cut you off?
I'm very much in tuned, and I'm very aware of the conversation that is happening right now. Now, to address this, because I know this is going to be a topic of a conversation. My dating experiences in the past have been less than ideal. They have sucked, right? Of course, not all of them, but yes, I definitely have had.
She was putting this friend through it. You hear me? She was putting this friend through it. And she's beautiful too. So that means like the men was coming. They was coming. They was coming. The men was coming, y'all. And I mean of different races too. The men was coming. So when I tell you she was putting this friend through some shit, at this point, I want to hear from the friend. Because I know she got a story to tell.
Very painful experiences, some very traumatic experiences. And I know you're probably wondering, okay, why do I talk about men the way that I do? Or why do I still want to get married? Or why do I still want to deal with men? It's because for me, I have a very systemic kind of a thought process and mindset. So I have been able to compartmentalize men, and I've been able to use them for what they're good for. I've been able to really understand how to navigate, how to protect my heart, and how to show up in a way that is not detrimental to me and the people around me.
So she's letting these men put her through the ringer for material things. So she's a sprinkle. It's sounding like she's a sprinkle girly. That's what it sounded like. And no shade to the sprinkle girlies, but I always tell y'all to take Sherry's advice. You have to be intelligent. And if the friend was watching her go through the ringer when it came to certain things, then she wasn't using the sprinkle advice to me in an intelligent way. Um, so she, as an independent woman that has her own, that's been able to travel and do all of these things, she still thinks that she needs a man in a systemic way. So she's not even doing it for love. She doesn't even want to marry for love. She doesn't want to marry for any of that. She's marrying for partnership. She sees it as a business deal. And so she's willing to be put through the ringer for it. This is very toxic. This is very dysfunctional to me. It is. It is. Even if you take Cher's advice, you still shouldn't be put through the ringer, in my opinion. Unless you sticking around too long or you're trying to do what Cher 7 did, but your heart is involved. Your feelings are involved. You're not detached. You're attached. Because no way you are out here systemically dating. I'm going to just call it that. Systemically dating, looking to systemically marry as a business, and you're still being put through the ringer. Because it's detach, block, delete, remove. I got what I wanted from this relationship. I'm moving on to the next. But if your friend sat back and watched you go through a bunch of shit with different men, that tells me you're attached. So are you really dating systemically? Because the sprinkle life, it's not for everybody. I'm just being real. It's not for everybody.
So that is why, you know, I have the outlooks that I do. And yeah, that was, I guess we're coming back full circle to my first video. But I'm going to, for my final step, I'm going to use the milk hydro grip.
It's so crazy because it reminded me of Ashley Dalton. I don't know if y'all watch her on TikTok, but there was this video that went viral not that long ago where this young woman was sleeping with a married man and she didn't have no diamonds in her ears. No diamonds in her ears. Her hair was not laid. Her nails, I don't know if they were really done or not. She looked a mess. And I'm like, you sleeping with a married man and that's how you look? That's and Ashley kept it real with her because I'm like, you sleeping with a married man and that's how you looking. No diamond earrings, your hair looks a mess. You what you got on looks a mess. That's crazy. That man, that older man is taking advantage of you, period. Period. And I'm not for women sleeping with married men, but I'm like, you know, we just speaking on if you gonna do it, why you looking a mess? That doesn't make any sense to me. So the girls need to pick a damn struggle. The girls need to pick a struggle because it don't make sense. You know what I mean? It does not make sense because some of y'all are acting like Mr. Krabs. Y'all are. Let me get $5. Let me hold $5. That's how some of y'all be acting. Like you really need to go through that man to have some type of financial stability. In 2026, you really don't. You really, 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 really don't. But some of y'all acting like Mr. Krabs, and so you got to go through that man to get $5 here, $5 there, and it looked like it. Because if you're really out here living that life, you should have diamonds in your ears. Like seriously, you should have the wig should be laid if that's what you're gonna be out here doing. But these men are taking advantage of y'all. It's the other way around. That man is getting more out of it than you are, and that should not be. That should not be at all.
Setting spray. I really like this. This is my first time trying it, but I'm going to use this just to set my face a little bit. And then, yeah, just fan. And this is going to kind of set everything in place. And before I go, I wanted to also mention that of course, your skincare, your skin prep is also important. So I brought these. I brought the Ordinary glycolic acid toner, and what else? The advanced snail mucin. This thing I think went viral a few years ago. But these are basically the two things that I use on my skin as prep, and then I'll go in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer to prime, even though I didn't do that this time because I forgot. But yeah, that is that is it. Thank you, you know, genuinely, because this whole experience has opened my eyes. It's allowed me to be
I hope she changes. I don't know what's up with the music in the background, but I'm gonna hope that she transforms. I hope that this is a catalyst for her growth. But it sounds like if she's been in this toxic cycle, she's 26. She's been in this toxic cycle since she was college age. She still got some time to like change this around. She do. She do. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. She has not done anything to me where I feel like she should be dogpiled and people are just being obsessively mean. She hasn't done anything to us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people are being super, super, super mean to her. You can be real with her. You can be honest with her, but some of y'all are being just mean girls. I don't like that. I don't like that. You can be real. You can be straightforward in your communication. There's nothing wrong with that. But some of y'all are coming at her makeup. It's like, and can you help her with her makeup? Yes, but some of it just gives a little shady. Like I feel like I know people in the chat were like, it's jealousy, it's jealousy. I think there's more jealousy going on in her TikTok comments than there's jealousy going on in this friendship. I haven't really heard anything in this story time where it gives that the friend was jealous of her. I think she had a genuine friend. I think she had a friend that genuinely cared about her, and she sat back and watched her go through relationship after relationship after relationship where she was treated like trash. And then she got into she was starting a new relationship with a new guy. And her friend was just like, listen, I can't do another relationship I can't do another relationship with you. Meaning I can't be friends with you and you are in this new relationship with this guy. I think that's what it all comes down to. And so she just decided to step away. I'm proud of the other friend. She chose herself. She chose her peace. She chose her sanity. She chose her happiness, and she chose what was best for her. So I can't even be mad at her. And I hope one day this young woman here understands the importance of choosing yourself, because she doesn't know how to do that. She does not know how to choose herself and be comfortable with choosing herself. She does not know how to choose peace and be comfortable with her choosing her peace. She is willing to compromise her peace, her happiness, her emotional stability for a relationship. So she asked the internet, is she male centered? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
More steadfast in who I am. Um, and also, just as importantly, it allowed me to reconnect with my best friend. And
I don't know how to feel about this. Was this all a ploy to get her back in contact with her best friend, to get them talking again?
we are, we're in a good place, or we're getting to a good place.
Okay, they're communicating. They're communicating. There's nothing wrong with that. I do feel like this is a friendship that can be saved, though, y'all. Not every friendship you need to cut off. I don't. I don't think it's that. Do I think the other friend needs to have very, very, very strong boundaries? Absolutely. Absolutely. But do I think that this is a friendship that can be worked out? Yeah, I do. I do. But she needs to do some work, honey. She needs to do some work. I'm talking therapy, counseling, mentor, coach, something. She has a lot of work to do. But the other friend, I mean, if she's going to allow her to come back into her space, her boundaries need to be on 10. Otherwise, girl, this is just going to be a repeated cycle. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a repeated cycle. And the other friend, oh, somebody thought the live froze. But the friend, okay, if she doesn't have strong boundaries, then she's gonna find herself in just a repeated cycle where she's once again in this friendship where her friend is doing what she always does, and then the friend is gonna be regretful of rekindling. And I know how that feels, and I would hate for her to feel that way. So she better staying true, or stay true. She better stay true to her boundaries and stand 10 toes down when it comes to her boundaries, or she's going to fall herself in that repeated cycle that it seems like she was trying to break free of. So I do feel like this can kind of be worked out, but there's some work that she needs to do. And ultimately, through consistency, that would be the only way that I would determine if she would remain in my life.
So I'm grateful and I'm happy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know.
I can't even be mad at her for this. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't be mad at her for this. She genuinely seems happy that she got her friend back. That's not the case for some of us. You know, like, I'm glad that she was able to get her friend back. I just hope that she does the work to keep her friend. That's it. I hope she does the work to keep her friend. I hope that she doesn't reel her friend back in just to be on the same bullshit. Don't do your friend like that. Okay? If you are going to rekindle, y'all have reached an understanding thanks to the internet. Okay? You need to ensure that you are making the necessary changes to keep this friend and be a good friend to her. Don't be wasting her time. Don't have her regret rekindling, reconciling. Don't have her regret that.
if you have any questions or if I need to list anything that I used. And until next time, I'll be sure to share more of my views. Thank you so much.
She seems very sweet, y'all. I don't know. Yeah, the only thing I would love to see her friend and her do a TikTok together. Can y'all go and comment that on her TikTok for me? I would love for you to do that. I would love for them to like kind of come together, do maybe like a little sit down and maybe talk about it out loud, about, what the steps are moving forward with them working on their friendship and her working on herself individually. And yeah, I would love that. And it also seems like the other friend could do a better job at communicating as well. Because she did kind of disappear on her. Maybe they got distant, but maybe she should have communicated a little bit there. But I think this could be worked out. I said that in the beginning. I'm like, I think this could be worked out. I think this is something that they could work out, but it's going to require her to transform and to choose better. Okay. It is. So that's really all that I have. I can see how the friend may have felt alienated or a placeholder in her life if she would get into these relationships with men and she would kind of lose her friend because this man would come in, take over, and then her friend would self-abandon. This woman here would self-abandon to be in the relationship with this man. So we'll see. Only time will tell. That's all that I have regarding this video. Please give this video a thumbs up. I would like to see that. So then also you could tell me what you would like for me to talk about next. Someone sent this to me. I think it was Brittany. She dropped it in my email. I believe it's Brittany. Brittany, are you in here? She emailed me, so she wanted me to talk about this. So just let me know what else you would like for me to talk about. Thank you for joining me. And as always, and I hope to see you in my next one. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night and happy Monday.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.